I've been off the grid for a while, and many of you probably forgot you were subscribed to my channel, but college football officially returns this month, so it's time to start ramping back up. One of the best parts of the upcoming college football season is calling your shot. Whether it's saying your team is going to win the Natty or your quarterback is going to win the Heisman, it's fun to have your hot takes. Well, I'll be reading and reacting to your hot takes for the 2024 college football season. This is part 2 of hot takes from my YouTube comments. Before we get to today's hot takes, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. If you guys have a hot take you'd like to share for the 2024 college football season, drop a comment down below and it could be featured in my next video. We're going to kick things off with one of my personal favorite hot takes I've ever seen. Bo Nix retires from the Broncos to go play for Oregon again and wins them the national championship while also winning the Heisman, and then gets redrafted first overall, becoming the true legend that we all know him to be. Yeah, if you've been a long-time viewer of my channel, you would know that we were hyping up Bo Nix all the way back during his freshman season when he was at Auburn. Actually, back then, we were calling him Bo Picks. Every year, we've grown to love Bo Nix more and more, and I'm personally really upset that we're never going to get to see him at the collegiate level ever again, which is why this is my favorite hot take, because I need one more season of Bo Nix, I need to see him win the Heisman Trophy, and I need to see him become the #1 overall pick. USF goes 12-1, we lose to Alabama close within 6, and we beat Miami at home. We win out and clinch our first American Conference Championship appearance, and with home field advantage versus Memphis. We win the American Conference and get selected for the college football playoff over a 13-0 Liberty off of strength of schedule. Again, these are the kind of hot takes that I absolutely love that is going to get you featured in a future video, because the amount of detail that goes into some of these is truly fantastic. South Florida did go 7-6 last season, so it's going to be quite the jump if they're winning the American Conference, but as we've seen in college football, anything is possible. Yeah, now if you take a look at their schedule, the first month is definitely brutal as they got to go on the road to Alabama and they got to host Miami, but outside of that, there aren't really that many difficult games on this schedule. But overall, I think South Florida could be favored in a lot of these games. That game against Alabama is likely going to be a loss, but if they're able to get past Miami, who knows, stranger things have happened. I could see this team going on a potential run to the American Conference Championship. Bowling Green secures a MAC championship with an 11-win regular season, defeating Texas A&M and sweeping conference play. So first off, if Bowling Green is able to pull this off, this would be one of their best seasons in program history. They only have 3 11-win seasons, with their last coming all the way back in 2003. Just like with South Florida, this is a Bowling Green team that won 7 games last year, so seeing them make the jump all the way up to 11 wins, that's certainly going to take a lot, especially considering 2 of their first 3 games feature games on the road at Penn State and at Texas A&M. But this person says they're going to go on the road and defeat the Aggies, so I'm guessing their only loss is going to be Penn State. Now again, if you look at the rest of their schedule, there isn't really a game that stands out as an automatic loss. I don't know how many of these games Bowling Green is going to be favored in, but they could go on a run, and who knows, maybe they're winning the MAC championship, and maybe Bowling Green is fighting for a potential playoff spot at the end of the year. How about a take on the strength of schedule for Florida this season? Yeah, I'll just give a heads up, outside of Arizona State, I don't know what the schedule looks like for any other team in college football, so when I take a look at Florida's upcoming schedule, this is going to be the first time I see what it looks like. Oh boy, yeah, this is probably the most difficult schedule in all of college football next season. If someone out there has a harder schedule, let me know in the comments, because oh my goodness. So they start the season against Miami. They do have an easy win against Samford, but then they got Texas A&M on the road at Mississippi State. They do have UCF at home, but who knows, anything can happen in that game. Then you go on the road to Tennessee, you play Kentucky, you play Georgia, on the road against Texas, you play LSU, you play Ole Miss, and then you end the season on the road at Florida State. So Florida has one guaranteed victory against Samford. Then you probably have a couple of games they might be favored in Miami, Mississippi State, and UCF, but outside of those, I'm guessing Florida's not going to be the favorite, and they have a chance to maybe win 4 games in 2024. I mean, is that really a hot take saying Florida can win only 4 games next year? I don't know, but again, this is an insane schedule. Notre Dame hosts the first round in South Bend. That schedule is very manageable. Again, I don't know what these team schedules look like, so let's take a look. Yeah, opening up the season on the road at Texas A&M, that's not ideal, but the rest of the way, I agree, this schedule is very manageable. Their next difficult matchup after week 1 probably isn't going to come all the way until November when they host Florida State, but they do get that game at home. Then they do end the season on the road at USC, but spoiler alert, I don't think USC is going to be that good this season, so that should be a very winnable game. So if they're able to somehow come out of week 1 alive and beat Texas A&M on the road, I could see Notre Dame running things the rest of the way, at least until November when they play Florida State at home. This might be one of the spiciest hot takes. Iowa's offense will rebound under Tim Lester, and the Hawkeyes will have a top 50 offense. Yeah, that definitely is one of the spicier hot takes I've seen recently, because you would think an FBS team, let alone a team that is probably going to receive top 25 votes, should by all means have a top 50 offense. But this is the Iowa Hawkeyes we're talking about, and I don't know how easy that's going to be. I'm not going to look up stats because I don't really know what determines the top offenses in all of college football. I would have to imagine that Iowa was near the bottom in almost all the major categories last season. So asking for them to go from being ranked, I don't know, like 100 to 120th, all the way into the top 50, that is quite the ask. But if Iowa manages to have a top 50 offense in college football this season, they're going to be a top 10 team in all of college football, no questions asked. Rutgers will be a 10-win team this season. Well, this would be a pretty big deal for Rutgers because in the 109-year history of their program, they've won 10 games only twice. Now, they did win 11 games back in 2006, so it has been in this lifetime. But Rutgers being a really good program, yeah, that's just not really that likely. Now, there is a common theme in this video, and that's that all these teams that people think are going to take the next step, well, they finished last season 7-6, because that's the record that Rutgers finished with. Could they build on last season's 7-win campaign and win 3 more games? They certainly can. They do open up their season with 2 likely easy wins, so they gotta find 8 the rest of the way. Now, there are some difficult games on their schedule, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rutgers messed around and had a couple upsets on this schedule. It does seem pretty difficult seeing less than 2 losses on this schedule, but as I've said in this video multiple times, anything can happen. The Heisman finalists will be Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, Luther Burden III, and Travis Hunter. Now, looking at this top 4, I actually really like how this looks. My only critique would probably be Travis Hunter, mainly because I just don't think Colorado is going to win enough games. Now, if the Buffalo somehow manage to win 8 or 9 games and Travis Hunter has an elite season on both sides of the ball, I could easily see him being in here. But considering I think Colorado wins maybe 4 to 5, I just can't see him here. But the rest of these, I really like. Carson Beck is personally my favorite to win the Heisman next year, and I definitely have Quinn Ewers, Dylan Gabriel, and Luther Burden all around my top 6 to 7. The Indiana Hoosiers recaptured their 2020 magic under new head coach Kirk Cignetti and win 10 games. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago when Indiana came out of nowhere and they were like one of the better teams in college football. That was a lot of fun, but ever since then, things have been going horribly for them. They won 2 games in 2021, 4 games in 2022, and won only 3 games last season. Now, I will say this. I do think they are going to win more than 3 games this season, and I think they definitely can be a bowl team. But winning 10 games, I'm sorry, this has to be my first time not agreeing with a hot take, but Indiana, they're not winning 10 games in 2024. Now, with that being said, you can use this audio and send it to Old Takes Exposed if I'm proven wrong. Kennesaw State will win 9 or more games in their first year in the FBS, following the paths of James Madison and Jacksonville State. Yeah, so Kennesaw State is one of the newest FBS teams, and they're going to be playing in Conference USA. Like the comment mentioned, we've seen teams make the jump to the FBS level and thrive. I don't really know too much about Kennesaw State to really back up this prediction, but I don't think they are going to make that kind of jump in their first year. Conference USA does have some pretty good opponents, so I don't know if they're necessarily going to be able to make it all the way to the conference championship game, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple of years, Kennesaw State is winning the conference. Alright, we're going to wrap up today's video with one final hot take. South Alabama goes into Tiger Stadium and beats LSU by 10 after being down at the half. The Jags football team started a chain of Power 5 victories with a victory over Oklahoma State last season that bled over into our other sports like baseball and softball. Who's to say we don't do it again? Yeah, South Alabama has quietly been a pretty solid team these last couple of years as they've won 17 games. They won 10 games in 2022, and they did take a bit of a backseat last year, winning only 7. But like you said, they picked up a pretty massive victory last year on the road at Oklahoma State as they beat them by nearly 4 scores. We've seen crazier things happen, and LSU isn't a stranger to losing games like this, so why not South Alabama? They go into Tiger Stadium and they pull off the upset by 10 points. Well, that wraps it up for today's hot takes. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, drop your hot take for the 2024 college football season and you could be featured in my next video. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm going to be posting videos every day during the month of August, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.